What if the man you just arrested thanks you for it? What if a murderer smiles because he knows he's already won? This is the story of Sherlock Holmes's most chilling case. A case where capturing the killer was only the beginning. And the truth, when it finally came out, left everyone in the room stunned into silence. This isn't just a story about a crime. It's a story about vengeance that simmered for 20 years. A story about a man who, pushed to the very edge of his soul, decided to become judge, jury, and executioner. When the police finally burst in and arrest Jefferson Hope, he doesn't rage, he doesn't curse or plead for his life. Instead, he smiles politely. He even apologizes for putting up a struggle. As the officers try to lift him, he jokes about being too heavy to carry and asks if he can just walk to the cab himself. The cab. The very same vehicle he used to hunt his enemies through the dark, winding streets of London. The detectives are baffled. This isn't how killers behave. There's no fear, no anger, just a strange, unsettling calm. But Sherlock Holmes, ever the keen observer, sees something else entirely. It's not madness, it's not panic, it's absolute, unshakable control. Back at the police station, the mystery deepens. Jefferson Hope, still smiling, asks a simple question. Are you a doctor? A physician is brought in, and Hope places the doctor's hand on his own chest. In that moment, the true nature of the game is revealed. Beneath the doctor's fingers, something is violently wrong. A powerful, unnatural throbbing. A terrifying vibration that speaks of a system on the verge of collapse. The diagnosis is swift and grim, a massive aortic aneurysm, a ticking time bomb in his chest, a death sentence. The doctor confirms if this man might not even live long enough to stand trial, and Jefferson Hope just smiles again. I don't want to die as a common cutthroat, he says, his voice steady. I want my story told. And as he begins to speak, the entire room falls silent, hanging on his every word. His story begins 20 years earlier, in a different world, a different life. Jefferson Hope was a young man in love. The woman he adored, Lucy Ferrier, was his entire world. But their happiness was stolen from them. Lucy was trapped, forced into a marriage she never wanted by powerful, ruthless men. When her father tried to protect her, he was murdered. Her heart was broken, and soon after, she died from grief and despair. Jefferson Hope was left with nothing. Nothing except a small, simple ring. A ring he pulled from her cold, dead finger as he swore an oath over her grave, an oath that would consume the rest of his life. He looked at the ring and made a vow. The men who did this, the men who destroyed his love, would die looking at this very ring. From that moment on, Jefferson Hope, the man, ceased to exist. In his place stood a hunter, an instrument of pure, unyielding vengeance. His targets, the two men responsible, Drebber and Stangerson, fled. They ran across cities, across countries, even across continents. But everywhere they went, Jefferson Hope followed. He was a shadow they could never shake. Years went by. He became poor, hungry, and sick. His own body began to fail him, but his purpose, his vow, never wavered. It was the only thing that kept him alive. Finally, his long hunt led him to London. To survive in the vast, sprawling city, he became a cab driver. He spent his days and nights learning every twisted street, every alley, every dead end. He mapped every hotel, every train station, every possible escape route. He was turning the city itself into his weapon, and then, after all those years, he found them. For weeks, he watched Drebber and Stangerson. They were always together, always cautious, always looking over their shoulders. Hope was patient. He waited for his moment. And one night at Euston Station, fate finally gave him an opening. The two men argued, and Drebber stormed off, drunk and alone. Jefferson Hope didn't rush. He believed revenge had to be understood. It had to be felt. He followed Drebber, watching him drink himself into a stupor. He watched him fall deeper and deeper into a state of weakness. And when the stumbling, incoherent Drebber hailed a cab and fell into the back seat, Hope knew this was it. Rain hammered down on the sleeping city. Inside a dark, empty house, Jefferson Hope lit a single candle. He held the flame up to his own face, illuminating his weathered, determined features. "Do you know who I am?" he asked. The recognition hit Drebber like a physical blow. All his drunken bravado vanished, replaced by pure terror. This was the ghost he'd been running from for 2 decades. Hope then showed him the ring, Lucy's ring, and then came the choice. He presented Drebber with 2 identical pills. One was harmless, the other contained a fast-acting poison. "Let God decide," Hope declared, a twisted form of divine justice. Drebber, trembling, made his choice. He chose death. Justice, swift and silent, was finally delivered. Drebber lay dead on the floor. Hope let out a laugh, not of joy, but of pure, unadulterated release. A pressure valve that had been building for 20 years had finally been opened. With blood from his own nose, a result of his intense emotion, he scrawled a word on the wall: Roch, the German word for revenge. A deliberate misdirection to confuse the police. But his mission wasn't quite over. In his haste, he realized the ring Lucy's ring was gone. He'd dropped it. He had to go back. He returned to the house and nearly walked straight into the arms of the law, who were just arriving. By sheer luck, or perhaps destiny, he managed to escape into the night. One enemy remained, Stangerson. Knowing his partner was dead, Stangerson locked himself in his hotel room, terrified, but guilt and fear cannot barricade a door against a man like Jefferson Hope. At dawn, Hope climbed through the window and into his room. Once again, he offered the same choice. The 2 pills, the ring, a chance for God to be the judge. But this time Stangerson didn't choose. He attacked, he fought for his life, and Hope was forced to defend himself. The fight was brutal, and it ended with Stangerson dead. The debt of blood was finally paid in full. The vow was complete. Back in the police station, Jefferson Hope finishes his story. There are no tears, there is no regret. He looks directly at Sherlock Holmes and the officers around him. "I don't see that I am guilty," he states calmly. "In my eyes, I am as much an officer of justice as you are." The room is heavy with silence. Even the hardened detectives don't know what to say. Even Sherlock Holmes, the man of pure logic, seems impressed by the sheer force of this man's will. The law will take its course. A trial will be set, but as Jefferson Hope is led away, a profound question hangs in the air, a question that lingers long after he's gone. Was he just a cold-blooded murderer, or was he something else? The only person brave enough or broken enough to deliver justice when the law itself had failed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy diving deep into stories like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you then.